right. Welcome all to Movement Yoga. My name is Mark Cormier. I'll be practicing with Kathy Cormier this morning. If you have any pose or part of the body you want to focus on, feel free to put it in the chat. And we'll get going. Are you welcome? Are you ready, Kathy?
I am ready.
All right. Peace, love, and yoga. Love that shirt.
Thank you.
All right. Make some space for me. Anything you'd like to work on this morning, Kathy?
Remembering to stand straight and keeping my shoulders open, especially when I'm sitting in a non-ergonomic seat that I have no way to adjust.
Well, the best thing to do is to get up off of that seat every so often.
I do, as much as possible. And I only have to sit, I never have to sit there more than an hour at a time, so.
There you go. All right, well, let's bring hands on hips. And let's march it vigorously side to side, lifting up a foot, bending a knee, waking up our legs, starting to arrive here on our yoga mat, ready for a yoga mat practice, a yoga practice. Getting less vigorous as we rock it from side to side, lifting up a foot and then the other. Now staying grounded through both feet as we just rock it from side to side. And then finding your center. Taking it front to back as we lift heels and toes. Notice it's a balance challenge. We're starting to connect with our core. And our core, besides all the other good stuff it does, it's probably the most important function is to keep our balance when we stand. And that's one issue with sitting, is that when we start to sit, we start to take the core out of the equation. Now staying grounded through the heels, grounded through the toes, just rocking it front to back. And then finding your center. From here, let's bring hands to the back of the hips, the fingers face down, just circling those hips. Taking those hip circles the other way. Now let's pretend we have an extra set of hands. The extra set of hands is going to be, we're the real hands right now, keeping the hips relatively stable as we bring hands onto our shoulders. And we're going to rotate that shoulder girdle. And then taking those circles the other way. Now coming back center, I'll invite you to do this with me. Ears over shoulders, ears and shoulders over hips, ears, shoulders, hips over heels. Just for fun, let's do one more. Arms in the air like you either do or don't care. The palms face in. We'll take the hips one way, shoulders go the other. Burning Man Asana, getting ready for that dance party on Saturday night, and we'll take it the other way. You might even let those wrists circle a little bit, let your neck be a little bit loose, there you go. And then back to center, hands by our side. Again, please do this with me. Ears over shoulders, ears and shoulders over hips, ears, shoulders, hips over heels. At this point, I'll invite you to narrow your stance. Doesn't have to be a lot. As we start to challenge our balance and connecting again with our core. Keeping it super, super simple as we inhale the arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, arms back down. 2 more times like this. Inhaling, arms up, observing the natural rhythm of the shoulders. As the arms elevate, the shoulders elevate. As the arms descend, the shoulders descend. 1 more time, breathing in and breathing out. Now let's really narrow our stance. Heels connect, the toes point out. A little different cue here. Hands find the heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. Relax shoulders, a soft tuck to the chin. Starting our practice this morning, watching as our breath flows in. And watching as our breath flows out. From this place of just watching your breath, I'm going to invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow breath in. Followed by an equally long, slow breath out. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to bring the air to the top of your chest, the base of your belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. As you breathe out, I'll invite you to engage your core as you draw the low belly in and up, concurrently lifting the kidneys in and up, squeezing a little more air out, more importantly, providing structural support with that core engagement on the exhalation for our low back as we move through these shapes and sequences. Now moving towards a go-to breath in many flow practices, the Ujjayi breath, a slight constriction of the base of your throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice this morning, letting the sound and feel of your breath be a focus for your practice, often compared to the sound of the ocean as the waves wash in and out. Last 2 details before you start to stretch and move again. Tip of the tongue to the hard palate just behind your teeth, keeping that connection throughout the practice. Keeping our jaws relaxed and connecting front and back planes of our bodies. And finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, lifting the chin, hands by our side. Sun Sal A. I'll invite you to go sideways, Kathy. And the top of your mat's going to be just behind that brick right there, or the top of the frame. Arms out to the side and then overhead, inhaling. On the exhale, leading with the heart as you find a forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. Hands can come onto the thighs. Exhaling, catching the back of the shins as you round the spine and traction yourself deeper. Now grounding down to the hands. I will not cue vinyasa on this first one as you make your way back to down dog. It's all good. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to walk your dog as you bend one leg deeply and then the other. Grounding down to the opposite heel. Stretching it out, maybe adding a little swing of the shoulders, a little swing of the neck. Just seeing how your body feels. What feels tight, what feels right, what feels somewhere in between. Welcome, Catherine. Welcome, Julie. Welcome, Lhasa. From this place of movement, I'll invite you to move back towards relative stillness. Long arms, long legs, long spine, deep full breath. And then on the tail end of a breath, bending your knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, more space in the low back. And then looking between the hands as you either step or maybe take a jump front. Take a breath to find length in your eye. Again, hands can come onto the thighs as you arc the back. Exhaling, arching the spine as you traction yourself deeper. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead, finding your flat back. Exhaling, standing tall. Sun Sal A, number 2. This time I will cue vinyasa. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, a big forward fold. Take a breath to find length as we arc. On the exhale, arching the spine and grounding on down. And elbows stay soft as you find your push-up with or without the knees. Chaturanga. Elbows shave the ribs. Inhaling into your up dog or cobra. The hips come up, it becomes an up dog. And then pushing back to your down dog. Other choices might be a child's pose. Maybe you choose all fours. Take your time to get there. There's no rush. Again, as we hold this down dog a few breaths, either holding it in stillness, seeing what arises, or again, feeling free to add some swing, some sway, just stretching it out. How does everything feel? And if you chose to add movement to your dog, moving back towards relative stillness, despite the lack of overt movement, you're still breathing, your heart's still beating, your mind's still moving. And by focusing on your breath, finding a little more space between each breath, each beat of the heart, each thought. Long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher and looking between the hands and either stepping or taking that frog jump front. Take a breath to find length in your eye. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, hands over head pose. Exhaling, standing tall. Let's do one more A. I'll offer the opportunity to throw a plank pose into your mix. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine and grounding on down and either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back to down dog. Your choice. Take your time, find your flow, follow your breath. At home, feeling free to hold your down dog, feeling free to sneak in a child's pose. For the purposes of this sequence, I'll invite Kathy to come forward to plank pose and hold. As she holds the plank, feeling that connection between head, hips, and heels. So even though we're not standing up, we still have good posture here. Ears in line with shoulders, ears and shoulders in line with hips. Ears, shoulders, hips in line with heels. Also connecting with that iron rod of strength through the very center of herself. Long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, navel to spine as you lift the hips high, back to down dog, and holding for another couple of breaths. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, and then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding again. Inhaling, hands over head pose. Exhaling, standing tall. Second traditional warm-up exercise, Sun Sal B. We'll do it flow style, and we'll add variations. Inhaling into your chair, knees over toes, hands over head. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, glutes engaged, supporting a back bend at the top. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to create length as we arc, keeping that length as we arch and ground on down and making your way back to down dog as you will. And again, take your time, find your flow, follow your breath. So we'll do a slightly different cue again. Flow style, heels connect, the toes point out. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Looking between the hands, wait for it. Lifting that lifted leg even higher. And then sweeping that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead, inhaling. And then riding the exhale back to low lunge. Take your time and think about when you lift that back heel. And then from low lunge back to down dog as you will. Awesome. So in terms of the heel, I just like two separate movements. So either lift it while you're still up and then come down, or come all the way down and then lift it. Otherwise you're doing a lot at once, and I want you to keep your balance. Second side. Heels connect, toes point out. Lift left leg high to the sky. High on the right toes. Looking between the hands. Now lifting that lifted leg even higher. And then sweeping that left foot through. Spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead. Warrior one. From here, we're going to move to a low lunge, one piece at a time. So either lifting the heel now or keeping the heel down as you ride the exhale back to low lunge. Once the hands are down, now spinning the heel up, and then back to down dog as you will. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Following your flow, following your breath, enjoying the sequence. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to your hands. Lots of space between each finger. Grounding down a little more predominantly between the base of the fingers as you draw the center of the palm up towards the shoulders. Shoulders engaged long through all sides of the neck as you look back towards your navel. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you step or take that jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, keeping that length. On the inhale, stay low, coming back to our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, neutral spine, hands by your side. We're going to throw a dragon dog into the mix. You up for it? Awesome. Inhaling into your chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length as we arc. On the exhale, arching as we ground on down and making your way back to down dog as you will. Find your flow. And we'll work with that variant foot position. Heels connect, toes point out. Doesn't have to be that big though. Just a little bit. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. On an exhale, knee to nose to knee, shoulders over wrists. And inhale it up. 2 more times. Exhale it forward. Inhale it up. The sternum will hold before we step the foot front. Exhale. Inhale and hold. And on that next exhale, navel to spine as you step that foot as far front as you can get it. Spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead warrior one. And then riding the exhale back to low lunge. And think about when you want to lift that heel. I prefer when you have a little more grounding. Now spinning the heel up. And then now making your way back to down dog. And of course, you can do it before you start the descent. Second side. Heels connect, the toes point slightly out. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. On an exhale, knee to nose to knee, shoulders over wrists. And inhale it up. Couple more times. Exhale it forward. Inhale it up. The sternum will hold before we step the foot front. Exhale. Inhale and hold. And on that next exhale, lots of core engagement as you get that foot as far front as you can, spinning the back heel down from that foundation, rising up to warrior one. And then riding the exhale back to your low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Take your time. Find your flow. As we hold this down dog, I invite you to bring your attention to the base of your throat. From that place, listening and feeling as your Ujjayi breath flows in. And as your Ujjayi breath flows out. In down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands and either stepping or taking a jump front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive, arcing the back. Exhaling, arching the spine as we fold. Inhaling, finding your flat back, chair pose, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, standing tall. One more sun salvi. Let's throw a twist into our dragon dog. Inhaling into a chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to create length. Keeping that length as you fold again and making your way back to down dog as you will. Deep full breath. From down dog. Heels connect, the toes point slightly out. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. On an exhale, bringing right knee to right elbow, maybe give it a tap, maybe not. And then back up. Now bringing right to left, maybe tap it, maybe not. And then back up. Now bringing knees center and holding for the inhale. And on that next exhale, navel to spine as you step that foot front, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead warrior one. And then riding the exhale back to low lunge, and from low lunge back to down dog as you will. Second side. Heels connect, the toes point slightly out. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. On an exhale, left knee to left elbow, maybe tap it, maybe not, and then back up. Now finding the twist, left to right, maybe tap it, maybe not, and then back up. Now bringing knees center in, holding, breath in, and on that next exhale, lots of core engagement as you step that foot front, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead warrior one. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge, And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Taking your time, following your flow, finding your breath. As we hold whatever shape you've chosen, finding your Samarviti, your same breath. Long, smooth breaths in. Equally long, smooth breaths out. Long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly, lifting the tailbone just a tad higher, and then looking between the hands and either stepping or taking that jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding again. On the inhale, stay low, knees over toes, hands over head. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll invite you to face camera, Kathy, as you bring hands to heart. Again, finding that light press of your thumb against your sternum, line up each finger. You might march it from side to side, letting everything settle. And then back to center. Relax shoulders, a soft tuck of the chin, watching as your breath flows in. And watching as your breath flows out. Lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by our side. Working with our fire breath, short, sharp exhalations out through the nose. If your feet aren't already hip width apart, we can get them there with either a step or a jump. Hands find the hips. From here, on an inhale, we'll bring the arms up in front. On the exhale, bending the knees, casting the hands back, short, sharp exhalation out through the nose. Let's do 8. Halfway done. A couple more. Last one. And then back up, and either stepping or jumping your feet back in. Awesome. Nice jump. Sun South Sea, I'll ask you to go sideways, Kathy. An extended standing pose sequence. Inhaling into our chair, knees over toes, hands over head. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to create length. Keeping that length as you fold on down and making your way back to down dog as you will. So let's throw a hip opener into our three-legged dog. Heels connect, the toes point slightly out. Right leg up to the sky, high on the left toes. Keeping that right shoulder just as it is, as best you can, twisting from the ribs, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. Now looking between the hands, pitching that knee even higher, and then sweeping that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead, Warrior One. In Warrior One, I'll invite you to bring hands back to your hips. If you can lengthen the stance, do so, otherwise stay right there. With your hands on your hips, we can steer our hips front. They're not going to get there, but you want to feel that energetic action. Now hands find the shoulders, steering our heart front. Asymmetrical shoulder rolls as we roll one shoulder front and then the other. Awesome place to do this. We've stabilized the low back with one leg front, one leg back. And then taking those circles the other way. Now coming back center, letting those shoulders relax onto rib shelf. Finding a clasp of the fingers behind the head, pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat, elbows wide to the side. Keeping that, stretching those arms high. From here, pulling silk thread, straightening the front leg without locking the knee, inhaling. Exhaling, cactus arms. We'll do 6 of these, breathing in and breathing out. Inhale and exhale. We're halfway done. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 2, breathing in, breathing out. Last 1, breathing in, breathing out and holding. The elbows move back, the hands come with, and I'll invite you to ripple those fingers, keeping our hands supple and enjoying the stretch. Bringing hands back to the hips as we spin the back heel up for a big step in. Moving towards our flamingo, shifting weight onto the right foot as we lift left thigh high. There you go. From here, from the inside, I'll invite you to reach down with the left hand to catch the foot or the ankle, lining up the knees. Yeah, so it comes, you see the difference there? So I'm actually, and then you want to catch it from the inside. And then we're going to start to pitch the body forward as we kick the foot into the hand. It's a little different here. And then maybe stretching right arm long, either looking down to the ground or past those front fingers with a mixture of effort and ease. Long arm comes back to the hip. We can start to bring ourselves back up. Swinging left thigh high, 2 hands find 2 hips as we come back to the flamingo. Now leaning a little bit forward as we draw energy into our center without dropping the thigh as we lengthen through that leg. Soft point to the toe. Nice. Lifting that leg a little higher. And then flexing the foot as we sweep it on through, coming back to warrior one with our hands on our hips. Using hands on hips to steer warrior one hips into warrior two hips as we steer the hips sideways, maybe narrowing the stance as we kick the back foot in just a tad. And then finding one long arm looking out over those front fingers with a mixture of effort and ease. What a beautiful warrior two. From here, painting rainbows, straightening the front leg without locking the knee, inhaling. Exhaling back to warrior two. We'll do 6 of these, breathing in. Breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 2, breathing in, breathing out. Last 1, breathing in, and we'll hold. As we hold the reverse warrior, reaching up higher, reaching up further. Lots of energy in those fingers, finding lots of space between each rib with every breath. And spreading those fingers wide as we find more space in our hands. And breathing into all that space. Now turning a reverse warrior back into warrior two. From here, finding a rainbow warrior. Would you like a strap or a towel?
I think I'm all right, thank you.
All right, so then finding a clasp of the fingers behind the back. Shoulder blades back and down initially onto rib shelf. And then leading with the heart as we take a deep dive inside the front leg. You might use the thigh to support the action. You might let the torso hang free, up to you. And you want to try to bring those hands as much as you can up and off the back. And that's why a strap or a towel might work for you. As we hold the shape, relax neck, heavy head, and then letting those shoulders slide off the ribs and down towards the floor. As we hold the rainbow warrior, I'll invite you to add a little swing, a little sway. Inviting any tension in your neck and shoulders to drain down through the crown of the head. Into the earth. And there's plenty of room in the earth for that tension. Your neck and shoulders don't need it. Now in our rainbow warrior, I'll suggest a strong tuck of the chin as we stretch out the back of the neck. Lifting the chin tall through the crown as we come back to our warrior two. From here, transitioning to the triangle. Thumb and forefinger finds crease of hip and base of rib. You want to deepen that crease and lengthen those ribs. Keeping a little spring in the knee. Grounding bottom hand down, either thumb in line with shin bone as you wrap the calf, or you might choose to add a brick or two outside the calf. If you choose to use the bricks, feeling that physical connection between the brick and the calf. Once you have your foundation, we can use that top hand to rotate our ribs, open up shoulder, and then stretching high to the sky. Either looking down to the ground, very grounding, off to the side, or up to the sky. Up to you. As we hold this triangle with every breath in, gathering energy in your center, a big ball of energy in the very center of yourself. With every breath out from that big ball of energy, finding more space in the shape from the inside out as you send energy out through both legs, both arms, both ends of the spine, connecting with the pulsation of your breath. Playing with the triangle on one foot known as the half moon. Top hand finds the hip. We can soften the front knee for a big step in. We're going to take a couple of steps too. Generally, it's better to keep the front foot still and move the back foot.
Oh, I just did it for the camera.
For the purposes of the camera, I totally understand. Pouring weight into hand and foot as the back foot gets light. We can use that top hand to rotate the ribs, opening up the shoulder, stretching hand high to the sky. Now either staying here or catching the ankle from the inside as you bend that top leg and then kicking the foot into the hand. It's a little different sensation as you deepen back hard. Can you get it?
It's a weird angle.
It's a weird angle for you.
I don't really think that. I don't think I got it right.
All right, well then catch it from the outside. Catch it the old way. All right.
Oh,
there it is. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's going to have a little different effect on the shoulder.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. From that bound back foot, finding a long back leg. Hand finds the hip. We'll soften the front knee for a big step back. Take your time. Once that foot lands down, pouring weight into the feet as we come back to our warrior two. And you're good. Awesome. And from warrior two, a big windmill of the arms as we stretch out our shoulders for low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Taking your time, finding your flow, following your breath. Awesome. So, at home, you might choose a child's pose. You might hold your down dog. For the purposes of this class, we'll keep the heat up as I invite Kathy to come forward to a plank pose. It's all good. Holding that plank, feeling that good posture, that alignment between the ears, the shoulders, the hips, and the heels. Feeling that pillar of strength through the very center of yourself. And that's whether you're in a plank, whether you're standing up. Even if you're sitting down, you might think about engaging those core muscles to help support the back. An exercise that nobody but you can see. One more long, smooth breath in here. Equally long, smooth breath out. And then navel to spine as we lift the hips high and get ready for our second side. Welcome, Daryl. So heels connect, the toes point slightly out. We're going to start with that same hip opener. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder as anchored as you can, twisting from the ribs as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. Now looking between the hands, pitching that left knee even higher, and then sweeping that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, finding your warrior one. Arms out to the side, and then overhead. From here, bringing hands back to the hips. You want a tissue?
I just want to get some water, but I'll
Want
do
some
it.
water?
I'll do it in a moment.
I'll give you some water. Here.
Oh my
That's what I'm
gosh.
here for. Here you go.
Thank you.
I'm going to keep the model happy.
Thank you.
All right, so
Lemon seed my water.
from hands high when you're ready, we're going to bring hands back to hips. Nice.
Thank
We're
you.
going to steer those hips front hip back hip front. Now hands find the shoulders. We're going to work those asymmetrical shoulder rolls. Again, great place to do it with one leg front, one leg back to stabilize the low back. So it's all about mid-back and shoulders, upper back, and then taking those rolls the other way. Now bringing shoulders center and letting them relax onto rib shelf. Finding the other clasp of the fingers behind the head, pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat. Keeping that width across heart and throat chakras, we can stretch those hands high to the sky. From here with the breath, pulling silk threads, breathing in, breathing out, cactus arms. 6 times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. We're halfway done. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in, breathing out, and holding cactus arms. You can do this at your desk maybe if no one's around. Elbows move back, the hands come with, rippling those fingers, enjoying the stretch. Now moving towards our flamingo Natarajanasana sequence. Hands find the hips as we spin the back heel up. Either one big step or a couple of steps in. It looks like you're pretty in frame. You might move back just a tad. And then we're going to start to balance on that left foot as the right foot gets light for the flamingo. Soft point to the toe. From here, keeping left hand's going to reach down and catch the ankle from the inside. So I think, let me see. So you're floating right foot, so right hand is going to catch it from the inside. Sorry about that. Yeah, there you go. Awesome. Hand comes back to the hip. We're going to start to pitch our body forward as we kick the foot into the hand to deepen back heart any amount. Nice. And then either keeping that hand on the hip or letting that hand float out in front. Either looking down to the ground or past those front fingers with that mixture of effort and ease. Hand in front can come back to the hip. Do everything one at a time. Yeah, so bring the hand to the hip. And now from that place of stability, you're going to start to hinge back up. Nice. Now you're going to bring other hand to other hip. So right hand to right hip, yeah. And now you're going to lift that thigh high. And without dropping the thigh, lengthen through the legs, soft point to the toe. You want to lean a little bit forward. You want to take it in your core and not in the low back. Lifting that leg a little higher. Now flexing the foot as you sweep it on through. We'll come back to warrior one with our hands on our hips. Adjusting your stance. Using your hands to turn warrior one hips into warrior two hips as we open up the hips to face the side. You might kick the back foot in for a narrower stance. And then finding one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with that mixture of effort and ease. From here, painting rainbows. Inhale. And exhale, warrior two. Breathing in, we'll do 6. And breathing out. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. I think we got one more to go, and we'll hold it. Breathing in and holding that reverse warrior. Reaching up higher, reaching down further, finding more space between each rib with every breath, and spreading those fingers wide, letting our fingers mimic our ribs as we find more space in our hands, and breathing into that space. Turning reverse warrior back into warrior two. Strap towel, otherwise the other clasp of the fingers behind the back. Initially, shoulders back and down onto the ribs. And then open heart, open throat as you take that deep fold inside the front leg. Take your time. And once you find that fold, letting the neck relax, letting the head be heavy, and then letting those shoulders slide off the ribs and down towards the floor, like molasses pouring out of a jar. As we hold the shape, I'll invite you to add a little swing, a little sway. Invite any tension in your neck and shoulders to drain down through the crown of the head into the earth. And again, the earth has lots of room for that tension. We don't need it in our neck and shoulders. In our rainbow warrior, I'll suggest a strong tuck of the chin as we stretch out the back of our neck, bringing it on up, coming back to our warrior two. Now transitioning to the triangle, thumb and forefinger finds crease of hip and base of rib, deepening that crease, lengthening those ribs, keeping a little spring in the knee, and then either wrapping the calf as you line the thumb up with the shin bone, or you grab a brick or two and you bring those bricks outside the calf. If you choose to use the bricks, feeling a physical connection between the brick and the calf. That's going to help you feel safer in the shape. Top hand can rotate those ribs, opens up shoulder, and then stretches high to the sky. As we hold any shape, when we breathe in, our diaphragm draws down towards the navel as we draw air into our lungs, gathering energy in that navel center. Big ball of energy. We've got front navel, back navel, side navels. With every breath out, the diaphragm relaxes and domes up to the heart. On that impetus, the air moves out of our lungs, finding more space in the shape from the inside out as you connect the center of yourself to the periphery of the universe. All right, we'll try to get this one take. Moving towards our half moon, top hand finds the hip. Softening the front knee, either one big step or a couple of steps in. Look pretty good. You might move back just a bit, be in the frame. Yeah, beautiful. You're going to set your base, left hand off to the left. Starting to pour weight into foot and hand as back foot gets light. Using that top hand to rotate those ribs. Opening up shoulder, stretching hand high. Make sure you're solid and stable for
My
this.
head was completely out of the frame, which is
Yeah,
fine.
we don't want that. So from here, consider bending the back leg and catching the foot from the inside. So yeah, there it is. There it is. That's what we're talking about. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now kicking the foot into the hand, a little bit more of an open shoulder when we catch it this way, as we deepen back hard. Either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up to the sky. From a bound back foot, we'll find a long back leg. Hand finds the hip as we soften the front knee for a big step back. Shifting weight into your feet as we come back to our warrior two. And from warrior two, a big windmill of the arms as we find our low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Take your time. Find your flow. And from down dog, I'll invite you to land your knees lightly as you find a child's pose with long arms in front. Settling the sits bones back towards the heels as you walk those arms front, heavy in the forehead through, and then letting everything relax. As we hold this shape, finding your belly breath, letting your belly massage your thighs as you breathe in, letting your thighs massage your belly as you breathe out. As we hold this shape, I'll invite you to gently rock yourself from side to side, releasing and relaxing your hips, releasing and relaxing your low back. Now bringing everything back center, I'll invite you to find a side bend as you walk your hands to one side, stretching far hip to far heel, holding for 2 or 3 long, slow breaths. Now walking your hands through center and finding that side bend the other way, stretching other hip to other heel. Welcome, David. Again, holding it for 2 or 3 long, slow breaths. Now walking your hands through center, let's walk our hands in and bring our feet off to one side. Let's do a long, slow roll down onto our backs. So finding the top of the mat, you've got plenty of mat space behind. We can start from our neutral spine, so you can come up even further, yeah. We don't need to see your feet, although they're beautiful with those blue painted toenails. Take a breath to find tall spine, neutral spine, back of the head in line with the sacrum. You can also think ears in line with shoulders, ears and shoulders in line with hips. From here, finding C-spine as you tuck tail and chin. I'd say lots of energy in those arms. You might even more energy in those fingers, yeah. That's going to help engage the core. And you're going to slowly roll yourself down, vertebrae by vertebrae. You could always bend the knees to catch the back of the thighs or not. Awesome. When we get down there, you have plenty of space, finding a full body stretch, arms overhead, not too low. Want to keep the ribs soft and drawing in as the low back lifts. And then I'll invite you to pressure back into the mat, bringing hands by hips, and then keeping that core engagement as you press the back into the mat, as you bring your both feet in towards the sits bones, either one at a time or together. From here, drawing one knee into the heart, the other knee follows, hands catch the shins, and then I'll invite you to circle your sacrum and your mount. Yeah, so it's going to be one big unified circle. Yeah, there you go. You might work a little higher up in terms of your shins. You might even cap the knees if that feels more comfortable. Yeah. And then taking those circles the other way. Now coming back center, we're going to trace 2 circles with those knees as the knees draw into the heart and then they circle out to the side. As we work this exercise, notice the undulations of the low back. As the knees draw in, the tailbone lifts. As the knees draw out, the tailbone grounds, the low back lifts. And really exaggerating that as you find more space in your low back. And then taking those circles the other way, so the knees join, they go down to the navel, they circle around. Yes, let it be loose, let it be languid, let it be all about your low back. Now drawing two knees in towards the heart, we're going to work those same circles with the knees moving different directions, egg beater knees. As one knee draws in, the other knee follows. Notice how this asymmetrical action of the leg stabilizes the low back, just like as if we're walking, one leg front, one leg back, just like we did in our Warrior One. And then taking those egg beater knees the other way. From here, let's ground down through 2 feet, arms out to a T, the palms face down. Finding easy supine twist as the knees fall one way, we look off the other. Holding this for 2 or 3 long, slow breaths. Now on the tail end of our breath, with that core engagement, as you draw navel to spine, we can bring knees and gaze back to center. A long, slow breath into your low back, back belly. And then on your next exhale, finding that easy supine twist the other way. Holding it for 2 or 3 long, slow breaths. With every exhale breath, just letting your body settle. Tail end of our breath, navel to spine, core engaged as we bring everything back center. One last shape before we lay down and relax. I'll invite you to bring one knee into the heart, the other knee follows. Now, soles of the feet face the sky. You're going to catch either ankles or outside edges of the feet for the happy baby. As we hold the happy baby, I'll invite you to rock your baby gently side to side, releasing and relaxing your low back, stretching out your hips, massaging your kidneys. Bringing that baby back center. Coming back to a focus on your breath. Oh, you want to do that too? Kathy's crossed her ankles. I think I'm going to cue that a little later on when I teach another class. Crossing the ankles. That feels good for you? Mm-hmm. Awesome. And then when you're ready, pushing the back into the mat to support the action of the legs, engaging your core as you lengthen one leg long. And then the other, we're moving towards our Shavasana. Arms out to the side, spinning the palms up to open up those shoulders. Scooting the head back as you flatten your shoulders. Doing whatever else feels right and good for you. Nice. Tip of your tongue now neutral in your mouth. A slight part to your lips, but still breathing in and out through your nose. And we won't be here too long. As we hold the shape, even letting that focus on your breath soften as we bring our senses inside. Now I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. I'll invite you to move your mind before you move your body. Bring your focus back to your breath, watching as it flows in and out. Like watching a river as that river flows by. From a place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow breath in, followed by an equally long, slow breath out. Now varying the ratio between the inhale and the exhale as you start to lengthen that exhalation. Long, smooth breath in. Longer, smoother, slower breath out. Keeping these more relaxing breaths, these longer, slower exhalations, inviting more prana, more life force into your bodies as you gently ripple fingers and toes. Inviting that life force in towards center as we gently circle our wrists and our ankles a couple times each way. Adding a little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips, whatever feels right and good for you. Connecting with your own innate sense of well-being. Now pressing your back into the mat to recruit your core as we draw one knee in, the other knee follows, hands cap the knees. Using your thighs to gently massage your low belly. As you lift and lower the low back and hips, front to back, side to side, little circles. Whatever feels right and good for you. Keeping the knees close in, reaching back with a hand, keeping the neck relaxed as you lift and tuck the chin. So you want to use a hand to do that, yeah. Once the chin is tucked, the hand comes back to the shin. You're going to start to rock yourself forward to back, back to front, massaging your spine. You might catch the back of the thighs if you need a little more oomph. And then rocking on up to claim a cross-legged sit. And I'll ask you to face the camera. As we sit, grounded down through our sit bones, ears over shoulders, ears and shoulders over hips. I'll invite you to bring hands onto the knees. Yeah, there you go. Hands find the knees. You're going to pull back with those hands to settle the shoulders. Long through all sides of the neck with a soft tuck of the chin. I'll invite you to bring one hand onto the heart, the other hand on top. Ending our practice listening and feeling as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bow as you thank yourself for practicing yoga. And as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world, the light within us honors and respects the light within you. And in this light, we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
Welcome, Brad. Welcome, Kathy. Thank you, the other Kathy.
Hello.
Thank you, Kathy with a C, for practicing with me here. And thank you at home for practicing with us. And as always, Namaste sounds so much like have a nice day.
Thank you. We love you.
We love you. We'll see you soon.